Shubor nakaslem jong unongsan Hima.
Senior Consultant Liver Transplant and HPH Surgeon ka Apollo Hospital Chennai, Dr. Elan Kumaran ki mendagasngi ulami syakmat ban pentip syakila bathai kubor baga Apollo Hospital Chennai mendakala ban Bujli liver ni udo anut yakitu ki bapang cancer ni ki badan jingpang bahe klen ha udo anut ni ki jing sniu no udo anut Ulu yathu bamenta ka Apollo kalala ban le shibun kitas bar ki jing sumar ki bala ban yada na ka jing Ktah ha udo anut Kumjuru ula ong baya kitu ki bajur ka klen hu udo anuat kila ban sumarhi dak bakilan met kumba sau po minute bat ban penya biang ya keru kambam Henry ya kitu ki bamla ban le egani ka Apollo menta kala dani ki dawai ki bala ban penjang U Dr. Elan Kumaran ula kentu ki brio baki dei ban Kiar nak badi Kiar Namar ka Ktah ya udo anuat ula yathur ba kador ban Bujli udo anuat kala kamduna menta nadu bala penankam dak tiar kita ki bapen mi nakari India Kaba poi tang kumba arpusau hadu arpusan lak tingkah.
This is my first visit to Apollo Trinity Medical Center to start off the liver health clinics for the people of Meghalaya. I am Dr. Elan Kumaran, the head of liver department at Apollo Hospitals Chennai, which you all know is the birthplace of Apollo Hospitals and a marvelous center where all these specialties have been reached at their zenith. So, as you are all aware, liver diseases are increasing all over the world. And in the same context, when I look back into the statistics of health at Meghalaya, definitely liver problems are on the rise and one of the major issues, especially alcohol-related liver disorders, because the average liquor consumption is 32.4% of the entire population, which is much higher than the average elsewhere. And as we all know, continuous high amount of alcohol intake directly damages the liver, and the sad thing is that it presents only at a very late stage. The next major health issue I would like to highlight today is about hepatitis C. We all know about COVID virus, how it affects the lung. We have taken vaccination, we take all the precautions, and we have overcome COVID. But for several decades now, the World Health Organization has been taking very strict measures to eradicate hepatitis from the world. It is possible because there are curative medicines for hepatitis C. Only that it has to be detected at an early stage before the virus has actually damaged the liver, and if they are diagnosed at the right stage and the people reach the liver specialist, they can be cured of hepatitis C. And finally, the rising and silent pandemic, I would say, is the pandemic of fatty liver. I think we are all aware that every other person getting an ultrasound of the abdomen is showing fatty liver, and till now, even medical practitioners were not very clear about the nature of this disease, the treatment of this disease, and even the treatment options that we had were very limited. And even today, the diagnostic modalities for fatty liver is not available all over the country. So, I would like to say fatty liver has to be focused because from my own experience, the liver failure due to fatty liver has increased from 5% to 20% in my practice. And if we let it increase, even children are coming with fatty liver. In next 10 or 15 years, we see many more patients with liver failure due to fatty liver alone. Excellent diagnostic modalities, simple tests like a liver function test and ultrasound abdomen are the initial tests that are required. And then further, we need a fibroscan. And with this assessment, we would be able to advise appropriately. The next major advancement I would say is about the medications for fatty liver. Till now, the role of diet and exercise has been emphasized very well because they are the first step in the management of fatty liver. A balanced diet, low calorie, high protein diet, and 45 minutes of good aerobic exercise is what is required to maintain a healthy liver and lead a healthy life. But then In some people, if you are not able to cure fatty liver with these measures, we now have curative medicines. US FDA approved medicines like resmetirom is not available in India yet, but other hormonal therapy medicines like terzepatide, semaglutide, these are all the latest medications for fatty liver, which as liver specialists we have found very successful outcomes. And finally, I would like to say about liver transplantation, because I still believe that the awareness about the success of liver transplantation is not present everywhere. Today, it is a very successful treatment for liver failure and liver cancer with almost 95% success rates. Even the recent advancements like the safe living donor liver transplant surgery, where it is a completely safe operation for the liver donor, and even using the robotic techniques in the donor surgery to reduce complications in the liver donor, doing liver transplantation across blood groups, which is one of the major obstacles in liver donation. And finally, some of the children who develop metabolic disorders, genetic disorders, developmental disorders, they also need to undergo liver transplantation, and it can be done successfully for children even as small as less than 3 months of age. So today, the liver transplant services are not yet available in Meghalaya, but I am sure we are working towards it, and till this time where the complete 360-degree care of liver services are available in Meghalaya, we are always available. The specialists from Apollo Chennai, the liver team, will be visiting Apollo Trinity Medical Center regularly, and also available for telemedicine and consultations throughout the year, so that people get their liver diseases diagnosed properly and proceed for the appropriate treatment. Almost 50% of the liver failure patients are due to alcohol use. So that is the first major cause. The second is viral hepatitis. Like I said, hepatitis C virus can silently damage your liver after infection. And the other major viral hepatitis is hepatitis B. Both these viruses are transmitted through blood and blood products, which means they can be transmitted only between partners, mother and children, or irrational usage of needles and sharp instruments. So we need to prevent the transmission of the virus, diagnose them early, and treat them to avoid liver failure. And finally, we have discussed about fatty liver as one of the rising causes for liver failure, which is also going to be an important part. Because one thing I found while going through the streets of Mizoram is the food stalls are everywhere. Every second shop is a food stall, but we must encourage healthy food habits, because it is not only about taking excess fat. Even taking excess carbohydrates will lead to fatty liver, and especially fried food, which is the main part of junk food, what we call, and the fast food items have excess amount of fats itself, which leads to accumulation of fat in the liver. A decade ago, people used to travel only to countries abroad for treatment of transplant, costed more than 1 crore. And when it was started in India, it was even up to 50 to 60 lakh rupees. But today, with the refinement of the techniques, availability of products that are made in India itself, I think the cost has been stabilized around 22 to 24 lakhs for a living donor liver transplantation at Apollo Hospitals, Chennai. So the important criteria for donor to recipient compatibility used to be blood group matching, which means O group donor can donate for any blood group recipient, and AB blood group recipient can receive liver from any blood group donor. Apart from that, A used to donate only for A, B used to donate only for B. But today we have medicines which can decrease this immune reactions against across the blood group. So we are able to successfully do liver transplantation across the blood groups. Finally, the essential thing is about the quality of the liver. The liver should not be very fatty, liver should not have any other disorders, and more than that, if it is a living donor, other important aspects like the structure of the liver. The liver is a single organ but can be divided into the right lobe or the left lobe. This structure should be favorable for division by surgical techniques, And even the calculation of the liver volumes, the graft that is taken should be adequate for the patient, and the remaining liver should be adequate for the donor. But as you all know, liver is one organ, has an amazing regenerative capacity. After removal of 500 grams, the same 500 grams increases within 6 to 8 weeks. Liver test and liver evaluation. But rarely do liver patients come with pain. Their main symptom is related to the functions of the liver. Liver does all kinds of functions: production, detoxification, and storage. What does it produce? It produces bile, and it produces all the important proteins of the body. So, whenever the bile production is abnormal, the patient presents with jaundice, because bile is what gives the yellowish color to the skin, eyes, and all the fluids like urine. So jaundice is one of the main symptoms, and if the protein production is decreased, all the body functions, right from blood clotting to growth, the muscles become thinner because the proteins are lost, and general weakness is an important symptom of liver disease. And apart from that, like I said, detoxification is very defective. So the level of ammonia goes up, and when it affects the brain, the patient starts becoming very drowsy, forgetful, and at an extreme stage can go into a stage of unconsciousness called liver coma. And finally, even storage. All the important energy is stored in the form of glycogen, vitamins, minerals are all stored in the liver. So because the storage is empty, the patient's health gradually deteriorates over time. And apart from this, the other major important symptom is the bloating of the tummy. There is a lot of fluid accumulation in the tummy and the legs. So the patients, even though the muscles are lost, his weight is significantly reduced, but the amount of fluid accumulation in the tummy can be so high that we have taken almost even 20 liters of fluid from the belly. Or they should not do normal jobs, because after transplant they are not allowed to meet things like that. But I would say this is a myth. We advise our patients for the first 2 months to have strict restriction in meeting people from outside, from eating food that is prepared from outside. After 2 months, they pretty much, students join the education institution, people go to work, they can get married, have children normally. So 2 months is what the strict restriction that happens. And for the first 1 year, we advise regular investigations every month to check the status and health of the liver. After that, it is reduced gradually to maybe once in 6 months or once in a year. And there, if I do not mention that he is a recipient, you may not even be able to identify that he is undergone transplant. That much amount of normal life. Or I would say, when they gradually develop liver disease, they tend to become black, pigmentation is dark, or they become very yellow because of the weakness, their general health decreases. But after transplant, they in fact regain their youth. They become fairer, they become stronger, and they become fully energetic.